All right, guys, listen to this. Listen to this.
The 2024 G7 Summit in Italy promises to be a pivotal event in shaping a more sustainable future for our planet. The esteemed participation of Pope Francis will lend a moral voice to discussions on ethical AI development and global cooperation.
This is G7. G7 is about climate change and what we can do to combat climate change. What did it just say? Pope Francis participation to bring about what? To bring about
the moral voice to discussions on ethical AI development and global cooperation.
Moral voice. So Pope Francis is going to be the moral voice behind G7, which is about climate change. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Pope Francis is the author of Laudato Si and the other encyclical that he had, urging that we all do something to combat climate change. Laudato Si, the conclusion or the solution that the Pope Francis gave for climate change is a Sunday rest. Okay, that we all do a Sunday rest. Okay, that was the suggestion or the strong suggestion. And we know for those Adventists, now the rest of the Christian world don't believe this, but we know that the Sabbath is part of the moral law of God, right? The 10 Commandments, moral law. You don't take one out and say 9 commandments and say that the 9 commandments is a moral law, but the Sabbath is taken out. If you guys want to know more about that, we have a documentary called My Letter to a Sunday Keeper, and we talk all about the Sabbath and why we still need to keep it and why it's still binding for the Christian today. For Christians as well. Not just the Jews, because remember the Bible says in Mark 2 and verse 27 that the Sabbath was made for man. Anthropos, man, mankind. Okay, not just the Jews. The Sabbath was also for man, for everybody. But anyways, if you guys want to learn more about that, My Letter to a Sunday Keeper, the link is in the description box below. So, for us, true, deep Bible students, we know that the Sabbath is part of the moral law of God. Now, here it says that Pope Francis his participation, he's going to bring about the moral voice. He's going to bring about his moral voice in the G7. What? Hold on. This is the Southern Watchman, June 28, 1904. 1904. We are now 2024. This is 1904. Mrs. White claims this. It is on the law of God that the last great struggle of the controversy between Christ and his angels and Satan and his angels will come, and it will be decisive for all the world. Men in responsible positions will not only ignore and despise the Sabbath, the true Sabbath, Friday sunset to Saturday sunset, themselves, but from the sacred desk will urge upon people the observance of the first day of the week, Sunday, pleading tradition and custom in behalf of this man-made institution. They will point to calamities on land and sea, that's climate change, to the storms of wind, the flood, the earthquakes, the destruction by fire, again, climate change, as judgments indicating God's displeasure because Sunday is not sacredly observed. These calamities will increase more and more. One disaster will follow close upon the heels of another, and those who make void the law of God will point to the few who are keeping the Sabbath of the 4th commandment as the ones who are bringing wrath upon the world. This falsehood is Satan's device that he may ensnare the unwary. So Mrs. White says that these calamities is the motivator to keep Sunday. Climate change will be the motivator to keep Sunday. Now, this is just the first phase. The death decree doesn't happen until Satan shows up. But these calamities, climate change, is going to be the motivator to initiate a Sunday rest. What did this thing say?
One of the most significant proposals should be the introduction of a weekly Earth Sabbath to combat climate change. One of the most significant proposals should be the introduction of a weekly Earth Sabbath to combat climate change and promote environmental stewardship.
They will point to calamities on land and sea, climate change, to the storms of wind, the floods, and the earthquakes, the destruction by fire, as judgment indicating God's displeasure because Sunday is not sacredly observed. Sunday is not sacredly observed.
One of the most significant proposals should be the introduction of a weekly Earth Sabbath to combat climate change.
What will that weekly Earth Sabbath be? Is it going to be Friday sunset to Saturday sunset, or the first day of the week, Sunday? If Pope Francis is going to be the moral authority or the moral voice of this summit, G7 summit, what do you think? What weekly Sabbath is he going to push?
One of the most significant proposals should be the introduction of a weekly Earth Sabbath to combat climate change and promote environmental stewardship. The weekly Earth Sabbath aims to establish a global day of rest and reflection. The weekly Earth Sabbath aims to establish a global day of rest and reflection on environmental sustainability, raising awareness, and inspiring collective action.
Inspiring collective action. Collective, meaning all. Collective action. Everybody should be part of this. Is what they're saying. Remember what happened? Remember what happened during the flood? The flood, climate change. And what happened what happened after the flood? They were so scared that one language, they all wanted to build something that is high so that when there is another flood, they're safe and secure. Guys, there's so many people out there that are discrediting Mrs. White as a prophetess of God. She talked about this 1904. It is now 2024. If you guys want more information on the mark of the beast, and who the beast is, who the second beast is, why the mark of the beast is on the right hand, why the forehead, the number 666. Please watch the two movies, the two documentaries that we have on Amazon Prime, From Babylon to America and From America to Babylon. Links are in the description box below. What else can I say? We need to get ready.